Hey, what's good, people? This is Sports Debate Tuesday. We are live today. None of that pre-record stuff. That's Rob McLean right there.
What's happening?
Episode starts right now. It's good, brother.
What's happening, man?
Hey, let's do it, man. Another day, another episode of Sports Debate Tuesday. Shake my hand, brother, man. Yes, let's do it. Along with my man, say it with me. I'm going back to me. Rob, keep it. McLean. I'm your host with the most. I'm Jason DeBias. This is Sports Debate Tuesday. We got a lot to cover. I can't believe with all of the sports we're still football heavy because right now football is taking over. We set up the stage for college football. Georgia's going to play Alabama in an all SEC finals. I guess both teams are worthy. Big Ben Roethlisberger had this fantastic nostalgic moment last night. I mean, his last home game, he went out a winner. And we're going to talk a little bit about him in the playoff scenario. We Jake Paul challenging Dana White, right? Part of that'll be our shame to shame or not to shame. But Rob, first things first. Let's talk about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, through all the heroics and nostalgia and this exciting weekend, once again, this man has stolen the show. In a bad way. Taking off his jersey and his pads, walking out of MetLife Stadium, down 2 touchdowns, I think, against the Jets, no less. In the middle of the game, has secured him, I believe, the release from the Bucs he so desperately deserved. There are a lot of questions here, but let's start with this. Question 1, is he done in the NFL? Let's do that first.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just because anybody that takes a risk on him and fails again, they're going to be in question on, are you really making the right moves for our team? So I think it's just one of those things where you burn too many bridges and it's over, Can he still play? Absolutely. I think he was still one of their top wide receivers, even with Godwin and with Miles Evans, because he's experienced. But yeah, I just don't think that he's got it anymore upstairs to hold it together, because that's what it takes. You got to be on the field consistently, whether that's health, whether that's mental health, whether that's just being able to be on the field even if you're hurt a little bit. But if you're not able to be on the field, you cause a distraction in the in the locker room, then you don't need one player is not going to make a team. So that's where he stands.
This whole time, I didn't know how to ask this question, all right? Because sometimes we try to do absent of emotion, and sometimes we have a first take on how we actually feel, because people are like, oh, feelings are not relevant, but that's bullshit. Feelings are relevant, right? So my first take, before I heard Bruce Arians and Tom Brady and all these people were like, I'm not surprised. I mean, the question should have been, are you surprised? I'm not surprised. To me, this is like O.J. Simpson getting caught with another dead white girl. And OJ being like, I know what you're thinking. You think I did it? No shit, I think you did it. And this man, we wrote down a laundry list, and these are only things that we remember. He was dismissed by the Raiders after attacking the brass on social media 3 days before he gets his guaranteed money, which I think is galactically stupid. Pushed the couch or a love seat out of a hotel window, a very high area, a high window, could have killed someone. Beat up his delivery guy along with his trainer, no less. Again, when Mike Tomlin was videotaping on social media, Mike Tomlin talking about the importance of staying off of social media, verbally attacked his sexual accuser via text the one game he played against the Patriots. And when he got released, cursed out Robert Kraft. Faked a COVID test, which in the way he did it is borderlines, if not as an outright federal offense. So my first take was, yeah, I'm not surprised. And my first take was I was upset for Tom Brady because Tom Brady, when no one in the league wanted to touch this guy, even when Bruce Arians says he's not a fit for our team, and everyone knew what he was talking about, Brady's like, nah, I want this guy to play with me. He can come live with me, stay at my house if need be. So I felt like his actions were a betrayal of Tom Brady. But with that being said, Rob, after watching the interview, Bruce Arians is still Bruce Arians. Like, he's no longer a buck, which was code for, I told you so. Okay? But Tom Brady's like, look, this guy needs help, and I hope someone can provide the help that we can't give him. And then now all of a sudden I'm like, maybe that hit from Vontaze Burfict a few years ago set all of these things timeline and stride. Because if you look at the laundry list, like, a lot of the stuff was playful, and him and Ben, they rubbed heads or whatever and this and that, but that's no different than any other diva wide receiver. The reason why they're called divas is because they're good. We tolerate these guys because they're good. He's gotten more second chances than Lindsay Lohan in court. So that was my first take. Was your first take and second take similar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, AB, I wish him the best, but it's been downhill since a certain point in his career. And again, not skills-wise, not physically, but mentally and being able to stay on the field. So it's a sad thing to see, but, football players, they leave the sport a lot differently,
I want to show you something. When he did this, right? Here's the video. I just want to press play. All right. This is him kind of losing his mind a little bit, right? Look at the guy behind him.
Like, uh-oh.
No, not uh-oh. Like, not surprised. Watch this guy behind him. And look at the coach. You saw a glimpse of the coach? This is not a look of shock or like, what the hell is he thinking about? This is a look like, okay, it's a normal day. And that's why I had that first take, because there were certain people looking at him like here we go again. That was the look. You don't have to be a shrink to recognize that look. So I just, like you, I had a second take. I hope he gets the help he needs, and I hope someone's watching him right now. Because as far as being at the lowest point of his life, when he sits back and compartmentalizes what he did. And people like Brady, who put his reputation on the line, which still remains intact because of the way he handled it with the press. Like, no one's saying this is your fault, Tom Brady. No, right? No one. So the blame goes on one person and one person only. And I guess my question is, was your second take more CTE or just lack of discipline?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something that I don't believe he's in control of. So I would say it's more along the lines of CTE, of just changing in behavior or erratic changes in behavior. It's almost like steroids, but, you have that road rage or that roid rage where it's like it's uncontrollable, it's very emotional, and then they come back down to, a normal type of personality that they usually have. So, yeah, it's tough to see because, again, I really didn't see much of Antonio Brown's career when he was at the top of his game. I only really seen him now outside of, the football realm of things. So it's difficult to see. But, you got to go back, check him out. He's definitely one of the greatest.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is one of the greatest. And speaking of one of the greatest, let's talk a little bit about Pittsburgh Steelers. Last night, it wasn't even on our agenda. It wasn't even on our topic list. But last night, they played the Cleveland Browns, and that place was rocking. The terrible towels were in full force. Everybody had a little bit more oomph. When Najee Harris was pounding the paint, It was a little bit harder. People, who usually grab his legs and trip him up, those guys were just draping off of him. J.J. Watt, or T.J. was it T.J. Watt?
T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt was, had a little bit more sauce. If there was anything hurting on that guy, we'll never know. And it was all revolved around one person who is basically saying he's retiring at the end of the year. That's Ben Roethlisberger. It's his swan song. So, big win over the Browns, because now they're still in the playoff hunt. I believe they need a win, but first of all, they have to win, and then they have to beat the Ravens, which is no easy out. And then second of all, they have to hope the Colts lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which neither one of us thinks is going to happen, right?
No.
So They remain in the AFC race, at least for now. And just between you and me, before we move on to the next topic, what's one thing that I remember, or I want to remember, as this guy is leaving the NFL? But so my memory, I'm gonna go first. His first Super Bowl, Jerome Bettis has never won a Super Bowl and really wanted to win one, and he had his chance to shine. Goal line, I think first and goal or second and goal, he fumbles the ball at the goal line. One of the Chicago Bears, who I thought was Urlacher, but it turned out it wasn't him, picked up the ball, runs the other way, which looks like a sure score, and it looks like Bettis blew the Super Bowl. And Ben Roethlisberger runs the guy down, runs a DB down, and trips him. Technique wasn't the best thing in the world, but very much like Ben's career, it's not always pretty, but he did what he had to do to win the game. And that's the one play that I think that's like describes him as an overall person. He did what he had to do to win. And some games he'll light up the scoreboard, right? He has a nice touch. And then some games you're just like, why is this guy still even in the league? You know? So I remember asking you if there's a particular play that you want to remember, but I'll just say on a general level, what do you think you'll just remember about this guy?
Yeah, I think whether he changed the league or not, I don't think that was the generational talent he was, but I think he improved all the quarterbacks, the elite quarterbacks of his time.
Yep.
You know, you think about Tom Brady, or you talk about Peyton Manning, or Eli Manning. Won those 2 Super Bowls. There was this time period where like Aaron Rodgers started coming up to at the end of that period, where it's not just about being an athletic running quarterback, but the ability to be escapable, to escape pressure, to elongate the play, and to allow your receivers to have more routes. And Josh Allen does that really well, right? Instead of just running every time that you get flushed out of the pocket, you kind of reset your feet on the run, drive the ball down the field, and then if not, you can run. But maybe Ben didn't have that third option, but he did a great job of taking pressure and being able to get the ball out still, which crushes your defense when you can get there, touch the quarterback, and the quarterback's not going down. I mean, now you got to get there and get the quarterback down. I mean, people say it throughout his whole career that you would grab onto him, be full barrel body, bear hug onto him, and he just fling you off and then run the other way and throw the ball 30 yards. So I think that is my biggest memory about Ben, just being able to, escape the pocket, even as maybe not the most athletic guy, and keep the play going.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to remember about him. And now they're going to be in a little bit of trouble, right? They didn't have a contingency plan for him. Right, Mason Rudolph is not the answer, and we don't even know who the third string quarterback is. They're going to be suffering, and Mike Tomlin once again is going to have to do more with less. And right now at 8-7-1, they guarantee not a losing season. Which, by the way, Mike Tomlin, his worst season was 8-8, which is a testament to again how great that guy is. I mean, there's greatness all over the place, right? In the NFL, we got Bill Belichick is doing really, really good things with Mac Jones. They're both teams. Both of those teams are in the playoffs, or are they? In fact, New England has a chance at the number 1 seed, but they need a whole bunch of people to lose.
Yeah.
Buffalo just needs to beat the Jets, and they win a division.
Jets been playing good football last 2 games, though.
Yeah.
So
gave Tampa Bay a run for their money, didn't they?
That's right.
Yeah. Will Saleh be back?
We'll see. Maybe he doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think they're just getting everybody back with that team. I mean, Zach Wilson finally started playing again, and it's just getting the rhythm back. They're a young team, so you never know. It could be 40 points. It could be 10 points. It could be 3 points. So
for me,
we'll see.
For me, whenever it looks like someone stops playing for the coach, you got to sooner. In fact, don't even wait for the end of the season. Sooner or later, that's not your guy. He's got to go. Urban Meyer. There was some, some toxic thing going on there that goes beyond my admiration for that guy because he's always been one of my favorite coaches. I'm biased, I admit it. And they don't stop playing for Saleh. And I think he'll be back for one. I think that buys him one more year.
I think it just really depends, I think, on what you're trying to do. I don't think it's smart to pair a defensive head coach with a young quarterback.
Mhm.
That's probably not the thing to do. You should probably get an aging veteran, somebody that knows how to go in there and control an offense, and then be able to have your defense be the mainstay of your team. And that's where I think the Jets are failing, where they need defense. They need to be best defensive team they can be, because offense, it takes time. You got to get the right pieces. You got to get the right offensive line. You lose one of your two big offensive tackles, your season's kind of at a point, where you're not going to score more than 15, 19, 21 points a game. You got to keep them under 15.
100%. Yeah.
So it's just
copacetic. Before we go to our pick six, I have one more question. Is Kyler Murray back? He played a pretty good game last week. He looked really good.
It's so funny
because they were. I was going to have that in quick question, but I think it goes beyond a quick answer.
It really does. So I think this goes to show you the difference between an elite quarterback and a very good quarterback, right? Dak Prescott, came into the league with absolutely no pressure on his shoulders. All this pressure that was created is created by people outside the game. They pressured Jerry Jones to give his guy a big contract. But when you look at the tail of the tape, at the end of the day, Dak Prescott, when it comes down to pressure situations, he'll lean on his team, right? Kyler Murray, this right now. He'll take control of the game and he'll make something happen. Whether that's a score, whether it's a first down, whether it's just running with the ball. Hey, we need this play. It's not saying that Dak can't do that, but his decision making is very it's got to be everything's 100% perfect, and if it's not, he plays at a much lower level than that. Kyler Murray he might not play at the highest level that Dak could play at, right? But he plays right below it, and his level never drops, not even close to what Dak's level drops. And I think a lot of that comes to Kyler was drafted in a position to have the GM, the head coach, all wrapped around what we were going to do for Kyler, as opposed to the Cowboys, where you're coming into a very secure, safe position. You're behind Tony Romo. They didn't expect you to start. You just played well, and you just kept playing well, right? That mindset that, oh, I have a great offensive line. Oh, my defense is getting better. Oh, now I got a couple weapons around me. That's being gifted, right? It's not a bad situation to be in, but it also doesn't create any toughness mentally, I feel like. So I'm not saying Dak isn't a tough guy,
no,
right? But in the game, when things are happening, there's a big difference between being antsy in the pocket, wanting something to happen, forcing something to happen, being anxious, and being calm and patient, and knowing that I do have a second option to get out of the pocket, a third option to run down the field if I need, not just, oh, I got to get the ball out. Oh, where's my check down? Oh, where's my second, third read? So I think that Dak is trying to play a system that he's just not that type of player, but he got to use his legs more. He's got to be a bit more of an athletic quarterback and then make things easier instead of just trying to be a Tom Brady, trying to be a pocket passer no matter what. So I think that's just where the difference is Kyler's an elite quarterback with a team that's getting better, and he will make that team better.
Yep.
Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback with a very good team, an elite team even, that he has to play his best for the team to be the best. Kyler, his team's growing, so eventually he won't have to play the best. Kind of like Aaron Rodgers. He won't have to be the very best player on the team every single day. The team will win, and then he'll show up for the last 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That's just the game.
Well, we as coaches, something we teach our, whether we're coaching professionals or juniors or whatever, the challenge of somebody wanting it really, really badly can work against you. That enthusiasm and your ability to want it has to be compartmentalized when you're in the game. To me, that's like a film room thing. To me, that's like a practice thing, a thing. And it's very much like being on stage. When you're on stage, you can't be out there saying, I'm going to set this audience on fire. Right. You have a scene and a scene partner, and you have a given circumstances that you have to pay attention to. And that's what sets the audience on fire.
Right.
So Dak right now, his goal and his expectation are crossing paths, because to many people on the surface, they look alike. Right. Your goal and what you expect if you approach a situation where you think they're the same thing. That's a flaw, and I think he's got to get out of his own way. That's one of the. I think that's what's holding his back. Because, like you said, we're not saying he's soft, and we're not saying he can't throw. We're not saying he can't run. The man is a physical specimen, and I said years ago, before Josh Allen, I wish I had that guy with my Buffalo Bills.
Right.
So here's the other question that we can't say for a quick question because it's not a quick answer. Were the Cowboys robbed?
No, I don't think so. I think the amount of opportunities, when you look at the whole entire game, the amount of opportunities they gave to Arizona time and time and time again, and that's what I'm saying. The opportunities were given back, maybe not the same amount, but Cowboys had the same amount of chances to make those plays, and the game ended up the way it ended up. So I think at the end of the day, you just see that even if you don't score, and this is what I really loved about like the integral part of football is like even if you don't score, it's really about field position. So if you're playing better time and time again in all three phases of the game, you're going to score, whether it's 3 points or 7 points, right? Because once you punt and your defense plays tough and then you force them at their side of the field, when it goes and they punt back and you return, you're at the 50 instead of your own 30, right? It's just field position. So I just think that when you have a better quarterback and they put more pressure on on their defense to stay on the field more, or just to make sure the ball is closer to your field or your end zone so you can score. That's the smaller aspect of the game, not just you didn't score 3 and out. 3 and out. Move the football down the field, get good field position, and then the next drive or the drive after that you'll be able to score. So I think that's really the things, you feel in Aaron Rodgers, damn, 40 seconds, that's the world. Mm-hmm. If you got 40 seconds of Dak Prescott, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You get 40 seconds, no offense, even Josh Allen. I'm not saying they're not bad. They're bad quarterbacks, but there's like 2 or 3 people in the league that can take 40 seconds and make magic out of it.
We know them. It's Mahomes, it's Rodgers, and Brady.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even put Mahomes in there this year. And that's what I was going to say before about Dak is I think that Patrick's right in that phase of expectations and goals. Like his expectation for his team is Super Bowl every year because they made it there their first year and they've pretty much been there every year since. But what is his individual goals, right? If they're not meeting up, that's two different expectation and goals, and he might not play as well as the team needs. Their team right now needs him to play the very, very best he needs to be able to give. Yeah. When you put out a contract like that, when you have players going down from COVID, when you got your offensive line they built you a brand new offensive line, it's going to take time. Yep. And so. Yeah.
So I'm with you. I don't think they got robbed because it wasn't a game that they were ahead. And like the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray needed a field goal to win.
Right.
So even if the refs got it right, there's no guarantee they score or kick a field goal to tie the game at the other end. So there's no, were they taking away the opportunity? Maybe, but were they robbed? No. To me, they're only robbed if they're ahead by 3, and Arizona needed that call to tie the game or to win. They were already ahead.
Right.
They were already ahead, and the Cowboys were playing from behind the whole game. So there's certain situations where I don't consider that robbed, And I guess they got themselves to blame, right? They got tricked and the call on their last time out. What's the coach's name? Kingsbury?
Yeah. Coach
Kingsbury had the kicker and his quarterback on the field at the same time. That Mike McCarthy thought they were going to kick a field goal. Instead, he had 2 players on the field, and McCarthy freaked out and called timeout. His last one. So it was a hoodwink, and for a young coach to pull a vet gangster move like that, and now that controversial play happened outside of the 2-minute warning, and because you have no timeouts, you can't challenge it.
Yeah.
If they challenge it, I'm not 100% sure the referees would have overturned it, but man, just playing all 60 minutes and coaching all 60 minutes, man, it pays.
It takes some life out of you.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right, so let's go to NFL pick six. Our pick six. We were both 3-3 last week. So
I got the easy ones. Or I got the hard ones and lost the easy ones.
But you are one game behind me. We're already not going to catch the host. We're not battling the host no more. I'm 46-36. You're 45-37. Let's go, Rob McLean. Let's go. Game 1. Steelers at Ravens.
I'm going to probably go with the Ravens on this one.
I go Ravens, whether they have Lamar Jackson or not. I'm going Ravens too. Game 2, I'm going to go first on this one. Seahawks at Cards.
Last
game of the season with
Russell.
the Cards. Not just that, the Cards, and if the Cards win and the Rams lose, they have the 2 seed and they have the division and a home game. A lot at stake, but
A lot at stake.
I don't know. Russell Wilson Jr. beats Russell Wilson Sr.
Right.
All right, I'll go first on this one. I got to give you a chance to catch up to me. I'm going Seahawks.
Oh, no.
No,
yeah, I'm gonna easily
you too?
take the Cards. No, I'm going to take the Cards.
Okay.
Easy now. Easy now.
He's a shishing. You go first on this one, Patriots versus Dolphins.
I got Patriots. You know, they still fighting. They want to finish strong. And the Dolphins dropped a 3. Yes, that's last week. That was terrible. That's embarrassing.
I was embarrassed for the Dolphins because they're a team that lost 7 in a row and then won 7 in a row. Right. They came into that game red hot and then just fizzled out. Bill Belichick typically has trouble against the Dolphins.
This guy.
Doesn't he?
Give me a win. He's going to give me a win.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, maybe.
You know what? To hell with you. I'm going Dolphins.
Oh, no.
I'm going Dolphins. Right now,
no.
I believe he's 4-4 the last 4 times he played the Dolphins.
We'll see.
That includes the Super Bowls.
We'll see.
So that's 2 chances. I'm one to tie me and one to pass me. Okay.
You're going to win both of them.
Saints at Falcons.
This is you.
I'm Saints.
Yeah.
Saints
Falcons.
have to win this and then hope the Niners lose. There's something to play for. So,
Kyle Pitts. Let's go all day.
Go Gage too.
That.
You picking Falcons?
Yeah.
All right. Niners at Rams.
I'm gonna go with the Niners here. I feel like the Rams. Yeah, I don't love them. I don't love it. I know you're probably gonna go against it, but it's
nope.
Cool.
I'm going Niners too.
Oh
man.
no,
you're crazy
good.
as hell. Nope, I ain't doing it. Chargers at Raiders.
I got Chargers here.
This is a win and in situation too.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Really?
And they're playing each other. You got what? Chargers?
Chargers, yeah.
I can't. Not for John Gruden, not for Carr, not for anyone whose last name is Davis.
Jacobs. Yeah, I know.
God damn it, Rob. Chargers. We already got 3 opportunities for you to beat me.
That's right.
So that's our pick 6, guys. Hope you guys. Hey, listen, we're looking for someone to battle the host this week. So send me a text me your winners, and this last week of the season, compete against the host, guest against the host. Right now, the guests are 2 games ahead of us. I thought they did really well in the beginning, but we hit our stride at the end. The only undefeated guest is Wendy Jones, who, by the way, doesn't even watch football. When I called her and told her that she won, she was like, wait, what?
That's the truth.
Like, no way. All right, so I'm going to my library for reasons apparent. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Rob's favorite subject matter and my favorite subject matter. I bring you to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
So, Rob, this is our segment of to shame or not to shame. We're going to talk about mixed martial arts. Specifically, we're going to talk about the UFC. We're going to talk about boxing. Jake Paul, one of the Paul brothers, came after Dana White about fighter pay. And he proposed that he will immediately retire from boxing and fight Jorge Masvidal in the UFC if he increases minimum fighter pay to $50K, because right now it's $12K to show up. Guarantee UFC fighters 50% of the annual revenues, which is what the NBA does for their players. And because he said they made $1 billion in 2021. Provide long-term health care to all fighters. This is a combat sport. I like that proposal too. And that's it. And he says if he loses, he'll walk away from boxing. If Dana White agrees, he'll walk away from boxing and get into the testing pool for MMA and fight Jorge Masvidal. I'm not sure what Dana's upside is on this one, but I guess you go first. Do you like his offer, or do you just think it's more nonsense?
So if this kid came out saying that stuff from the beginning, like, who is this kid to talk about fighter pay? Like, he knows anything about fighter pay. Well, he's had a couple conversations with people about what fighter pay is. I mean, he's been in the sport, quote unquote, for 3 years. That means he's been training in these beautiful gyms, his beautiful house. Everything's been made for him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So at the end of the day, sure, I love the things he's talking about. And a real topic is that a lot of fighters can't get together and make these type of demands. So good for him. But he can't make the demands because he's a troll. He's somebody who has zero respect. You can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth, and everything that looks like a facade. So at the end of the day, you can't trust him. So you can't. Dana White cannot make this deal, because what happens when he doesn't retire? Oh, we have it on contract. Oh, well, I said I was going to retire from this and not from that. It's just you cannot deal with people like him. So I would what sounds great for me if I'm Dana White? Keep boxing. Get your head blown in, and then you ain't going to have nothing to talk about anymore, because the way he talks and the way he comes at people and the way that he makes people money, he's going to lose eventually. And if he doesn't, he's just going to lose fans and people. Nobody's going to want to see him. And then you're going to really find out what boxing is about. When people don't watch is really when the sport comes real.
100%.
Are you going to train? Is this about your health, or is it just about creating views for fans to make a joke of? And this is what it seems hard to go longer, but this is all that I see.
That's what it is. It's a money grab, right?
Yeah.
It's just...
Which takes down off the people that don't sell themselves out to make some money. Right. We just go to work, and we be blue collar, and we put our lives on the line, and we put our life's work each and every day into a craft and a skill that you're saying takes 2 years of just trying it out, and then you can beat anybody in the world. It's just such a slap in the face to any boxer, any fighter. So that's why I just cannot. Anything that comes out of his mouth, I do not agree with. I don't. And then if I do, cool, let somebody else do it. I don't want him doing it. Right? So you can be the idea man, but you can't be the face man for it, because you have lost all respect. That's it. You have no respect. Your brother, you have no respect. Like, none of it. The words that you come out of your mouth create the respect that you allow other people to trust you. No trust, no respect for that dude.
Yep. All right. My turn. A whole minute. I'm probably going to go over too. All right. So this is a guy, he's a YouTuber that decided to fake it till he made it, right? He took boxing quasi seriously, then took it very, very seriously, but at the same time, not that serious where he wants to actually fight a real boxer. He oversold and over-advertised his popularity and his viewership until he actually was that guy. He was he made millions in pay-per-views, whatever, which wasn't true. And then it turns out, as the fights go on, he started to make more and more money. This last one with Tyron Woodley didn't make. He's oversold that. He oversold that. He's lying his freaking ass off. He didn't sell a million pay-per-views against a second match against Tyron Woodley. Right. No, that's not going to happen. So now, should Dana even indulge in this? I don't like rewarding people for stupidity, but this is the United States of America, right? I mean, we reward Elon Musk, and at the same time, we reward every single person that did Jersey Shore. All right, so it's one of those things where, in my mind, I don't really see how different this was from them letting CM Punk fight, except from a feelings perspective. I felt a little bit better about CM Punk because he had respect. CM Punk didn't just sign with the UFC. He trained. He took a year, and got his ass beat by Mickey Gall, because turns out Mickey Gall had mad skills, and I still like watching Mickey Gall. In fact, Dana White hates the entrance music. It's Hey Mickey. Dana's just like, oh God, it's just Dana's like one of those man's man dudes, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, but. So there is a feelings perspective, God, this is one more Nimrod we get to reward for being an idiot. and we as a nation continue to do that. And at the same time, don't you want to see him get his block knocked off or get choked out or something? Let Masvidal, like, this isn't 2-point striking. Masvidal was already to us, we already knew who he was all the way back from Strikeforce. But his moment of fame came from a knee. The fastest knockout. And I mean clean. Mm-hmm. I mean, slept next to him. The guy didn't wake up. He slept next to him. He could have spooned him. I want to see that happen. I mean, come on. It's the same. It's almost the Conor McGregor effect, right? You act like a douchebag where you're going to pay money to see him get knocked out. But at the same time, he has no idea about fighter pay. I agree with you. Look, would we like people to make $50K to show up, especially if the UFC is making money? At least he's bringing, I got to defend this guy on this one. At least he's bringing eyes to it. Why are fighters doing GoFundMe when this dude is like blowing $7 million at Russian roulette in Vegas?
But that's because he's bringing an entrepreneurial entertainment aspect to it.
Right.
Like, he's making a WWE of boxing. He's making a WWE of UFC.
Yeah.
And he's just creating content off of, and this again is by saying the loudest thing in the room. If everybody's talking about fighter pay, fighter pay, or he mentions fighter pay one time and like, we hate everything you talk about, but fighter pay, that was real. What do you think he's going to talk about? Fighter pay. Because it gets the most amount of names and the most amount of something on it. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care that, families can't eat food. He just cares about, 50K is bigger than 12K. Like, if we really want to talk about the problems, why don't we talk about when fighters don't show up or fighters are overrated? Why don't we cut their pay? They still get paid full, you know what I mean?
And by the way, and those are just closed amounts, right? When Dana says you don't know what the hell you're talking about, that's code for, look, I take care of my fighters. Right. Like you see a performance of the night bonus, but what you don't see is a check.
Right.
I sent to someone else because I thought he was good too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Chael Sonnen told a really good story about that. When he got submitted by Damian Maia, he got something like FedExed in the mail or FedExed or messengered to him like an envelope, and he thought it was his walk-in papers, and it was a big ass check because Chael, if you remember in his prime, he's won every single round that he didn't lose by submission. Almost all of his fights at that time he lost by submission, and before that he was grinding using a style that a lot of people don't like. So Dana's right. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and so are you. And we can discuss this ad nauseum, but I just don't. I'm like you. I don't want to.
That airtime.
Yeah, we've rewarded it enough for something that was supposed to be 2 60-second segments. Mm-hmm. So let's move on from that, my man. Quick question, Rob. Are we finished with NBA 10-day contracts, or will we continue to see some of these 10-day COVID protocol things?
No, I think we will see them, and I also believe that, I think it's only going to get worse, and they probably should think about postponing games at some time, just to catch back up. But
yeah. Quick question: did the Chiefs blow this win opportunity, or did the Bengals steal it?
You want me to go first?
I'll go first on this one. They blew it. The Bengals had 4th down, which was ridiculous. 4th down with a 31 up, you kick the field goal. This guy chooses to go for it, which is the coaching no. And the Chiefs let him off the hook with the illegal contact penalty or hands to the face or some kind of crazy thing that gave them a reset button and an extra set of downs, right?
True.
To leave Mahomes no time.
I would say it's not. I think the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals stole it. I think the Bengals won it because they were up most of the game, and they did a good job of putting pressure on Kansas City to at least have the end of the game to do their thing. So, yeah, terrible decisions at the end of the game, but they were there. Yep.
Quick question: is this the year we see the Bengals win their first playoff game since 1990?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, all the excitement in the room. They just won their division, so it's going to be a home game. It's going to be interesting.
And in the AFC, Doesn't even matter.
It don't matter.
They're hosting against teams that they're all capable of beating. That's
Yep.
an absolute yes.
Yep.
Who's Rookie of the Year? Quick question. I go Michael Parsons.
I go. Rookie of the Year. I think Mac Jones.
Yeah. Very
Probably.
deserving.
I think so.
Quick question. Who gets the last spot in the NFC playoff picture? Is it San Francisco or New Orleans? If San Fran loses, New Orleans wins, they're in. If they both lose, San Fran's in.
I think it's going to be San Fran.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because I think they're both going to lose, and which right now San Fran has a spot.
Yep.
So that's what I think is going to happen. Even though I just picked, did we both pick San Fran to win? I'm an idiot. We both just picked him in pick 6. What the hell are we talking about? Quick question. Who wins between Georgia and Alabama?
I think, if I'm going to put money on it, I'm going to say Alabama.
Me too.
I think it's going to be a freaking awesome game. Best game probably since Rose Bowl back in USC in Texas.
Alabama's my pick too. Quick question. Who wins offensive rookie between Jamar Chase and Mac Jones?
And that's funny because I feel like, this happens a lot where it could be, Mac Jones could be Rookie of the Year. Could be, Rookie of the Year. But offensive Rookie of the Year, I think is going to be Jamar Chase. Dude, he's had the last 4 or 5 games have just been an explosion. And he had been playing really well before that. They're really mixing it in. I think he's gonna kill this game, kill next week, and it's just gonna lock it in.
I like it. All right, that's the end of the quick question. But before we go, people, remembering John Madden, remembering Dan Reeves. John Madden, Super Bowl winning coach, longtime color commentator specifically for Monday Night Football, and I guess generation-wise, Madden football is what the younger. It's crazy that of all the great things he does, the thing that he loved the most was coaching, but he's probably more known for commentating in the Madden football game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
But he was such a young coach, and he coached for such a small period of time, which at that time was not a big thing. Like you had coaches that stayed on there for 20 seasons. So when you have like a 5-6 year stint as a head coach, it's like unheard of, and
talk about
super successful.
We'll talk about a bunch of mean junkyard dogs that could probably. Look at
they
probably wouldn't make any money. They'd have to pay fines every week, man. They'd have to forfeit their game check every week for some of the shit that they did on the field.
Jesus.
My favorite John Madden moment, honestly, was I'm just gonna have a little fun. The movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. He's commentating, and the guy who was supposed to kick the field goal, he's like, "Is that guy smoking on the field?" The guy was like smoking a cigarette, and he's like, "Yeah, you're seeing things." No, he's smoking on the field.
Mouth.
Yeah, so that was my favorite Madden moment. So.
Yeah, very multifaceted individual.
Yeah. Dan Reeves, R.I.P. One of the coordinators for the Cowboys. I believe a former NFL player, and of course got to the Denver Broncos to 3 Super Bowls, and got the Atlanta Falcons. Remember the Dirty Bird? I forgot that guy's name. Anderson. So multiple Super Bowl appearances as a coordinator and a head coach. Shannon Sharp basically says if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be in the NFL because there's so many people that wouldn't have drafted Shannon. Never mind that high. So Shannon on his show Undisputed was echoed that sentiment that if there were any other coach, Shannon wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So
for sure,
remembering 2 very, very good individuals and their contributions to football, not to mention their philanthropy off the field is well documented. So that's my take on those 2.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. Betty White too, man.
Betty White.
Yeah. I just remember her because she had a dancer on like one of her shows or one of her performances, and they wanted to get rid of the dancer because they were black, and she's like, he stays. And this is in the 1950s when white people, even white people who were on black people's side were too scared to say it.
Yeah, true history.
Yeah, so R.I.P. Betty White, R.I.P. John Madden. Wow, R.I.P. Dan Reeves, man. And they will be missed. Rob, is there anything you'd like to say before I mess up our outro trying to tech my own show?
Stay happy, stay healthy, y'all.
Rob says, stay happy, stay healthy, people. I might love you. Rob might love you. And I love you again because I just messed up my outro again, right? I'm supposed to say I can't stand him. No, I love all of y'all, man. Happy New Year. I'm so glad we made it, man. So for my boy Rob, keep it McLean. I'm Jason DeBiss. This is Sports Debate Tuesday, man. Happy to have y'all. See y'all next week. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.